Hello, witches. Hello, seekers. Hello, worlds. This is Dreamflower. I get such amazing questions from seekers when I'm doing tarot readings for them. And I thought that I would start sharing some of those questions and some of those potential answers, which sometimes may just lead to more questions. But a question I received this past week really, it just made me think. It made me really, really go deep. And I wanted to share that with you. I had a seeker come to me for a reading, and it was a woman who absolutely loves baking. And she has a full time job. She works in an office. But for the past few years, she's been trying to get a side business going where she can bake, cupcakes and things like that for various events because she just really loves doing it. But there have been so many hindrances for her. Obstacles keep coming up that kind of, sidetrack her or prevent her from having the time or the motivation to really turn the business into something that's lucrative. And so her question to me during this reading was, how do I know when it's time to stop? How do I know when to call it, right? What is the cutoff point between this is a dream that I want to pursue and I don't want to quit and I don't want to give up, but I feel like the universe is telling me it's not going to happen. And that question hit deep for me, I think, because there's been a couple times in my past that I tried to turn a love or a creative passion of mine into something lucrative, right? Essentially into a business of sorts. For me, it was photography and writing, two things that I just loved doing and I never had made any money from. With both of those hobbies, I was told, well, why don't you just go to school for that? And then you can teach it, or then you can just, do it. And both times I did that, what wound up happening, for me at least, is when I forced myself to take a creative outlet and turn it into something that just felt like work, it almost burned it out of me. I don't write very much anymore, at least not creatively. I do some freelance journalism and things like that. And I don't really take pictures, although part of that is, I think, because I really miss like analog photography. I loved being in a dark room and actually developing pictures with chemicals. Digital photography is fun, it just doesn't quite compare for me. But anyway, what I said to this seeker was, and it's a hard question to answer. It's such a hard question to answer because I think it's different for everyone. And I don't know that I necessarily gave a quote unquote right answer. But what I did say was this: if you still love it, if it is all that you think about doing, maybe not all that you think about doing, but you know what I'm saying. If it's something that you just can't get enough of, if it's something where when you're doing it, you lose time in a good way, not like in an alien abduction way, but in the sense that time just passes because you're so happy and you're so into what you're doing and you love what you're doing that you look up and you're like, oh my God, 3 hours went by. If it's something that you love doing, I absolutely don't think that you should give it up or that you should quit. That being said, you may need to reevaluate whether or not this is something that you need to turn into a business, or at least, you know, you can put yourself out there and occasionally bake cupcakes for an occasion when someone reaches out to you. But I think in our society, we have this pressure that anything creative that we do is supposed to be monetized. It's supposed to be lucrative. It's supposed to become a business, right? And if you can do that, then that's fantastic. But I also think we need to change our perspective on this and look at it in the sense of it's okay to have a creative hobby and do it just because you love to do it. You don't have to make money doing it. It doesn't have to make you a millionaire in order for you to be validated as an artist or a writer or a dancer or a baker, whatever it is you love doing. You can do it just because you love it. So that was my advice to her. Reevaluate what you want from this hobby. Is this really the thing that you want to, drive at for the next 10 years? Maybe the universe is sending you a message. Maybe it's not. Sometimes, like, life happens and shit happens, and it is what it is. But other times, maybe you do just want to change the end goal. Not give up your hobby, not abandon it just because you're not making a full-time living off of it, but let it be a creative outlet for you. Let it stay something that you love. Because sometimes when you try to force it into something, it doesn't work out well. So, that was my advice to her. She seemed very happy with that. We did talk a little bit about, that idea in our society, that pressure that, like, if you're going to be an artist and you don't make $1 million and have huge gallery showings, that you failed. You haven't failed at anything. If you are doing something you love, you haven't failed. And we should be able to do that more and not be judged for it. So I don't know, maybe just something to keep in mind for yourself or for other people in your life. If you know people who have hobbies that you might think are really weird, like tarot card reading, just try to have a different perspective. Okay, that's it. I'm going to sign off. And if you have questions that you would like me to address about the tarot, about oracle cards, astrology, anything like that, I will try to answer them as best I can, or at least offer some insight, if not a finite answer. You can post in the comments, or you can email me at dreamflowertarot@gmail.com. And if you'd like to book a reading, just visit the website. I'll throw the link in the comment section. Talk to you soon, guys. Take care of yourselves.